Hi everyone, my name's James from Novotronics, and so finally I've decided to put up a layout in my basement. Now, as you can see, we're in the middle of framing, so this is just going to be a couple tables pushed together, at least for now. Once we finish with the rest of framing, drywall, flooring, make it more of a livable square footage space, then I will actually put permanent wood-based bench work here, so that way we can actually have a real layout going around, and I'll even stretch it around here. But for right now, this is fine, just to run some trains. So the first thing I did was started just putting up some track as like an outside loop for track plan. I might work on some stuff in the middle, but for right now I want to get some accessories up and running and some of the electrical stuff down before all the track is down. So let's walk through what I've something I want to do throughout this whole process for this temporary layout and also for the future layout as well is do a little bit of a video series, kind of walking through how I do stuff, why I do stuff, things like that. So this is the first episode, so we'll talk a little bit about some of the track plans. So my idea here is I'm going to have a metro train that runs around a station with a platform and everything like that in the inside loop, and that's going to be running in there. It's going to be separated by probably two switches over there. That way we can run two trains, one on the outside loop, one on the inside loop. And then on the outside loop, I'm going to have a Kalamazoo train, Conrail SD60M, I think, and a Norfolk Southern SD40 leading a train that you'd find around Kalamazoo. So it kind of ties pieces of my childhood, where I grew up outside of Chicago, and also where I live now in Kalamazoo, kind of tie that together. So that's my track plan and some of my ideas. The next thing I want to cover is on the electronic side, something I've been doing to start. So first thing I did was obviously wire up the track, but the second portion of it is, you can see I've got these two crossing flashers here. The Lino 154, and this is a Marx O-scale flasher. Now, as most of you know, these original ones, these post-war ones, don't have flashing circuitry in them. So that's what these custom perf boards here I soldered together are. I designed a circuit myself to do the flashing and all that stuff, but I've also actually designed a speaker to play custom MP3s for, in this case, railroad crossing sounds. And I've hooked this up to the circuitry that does the flashing as well. So when the flashers get activated, so does the speaker with the MP3. The method of activation I did was outside rail isolation. So essentially, on three rail O-scale tracks, the middle rail is the rail that supplies the power. The two outsides are ground. So what you can do is you can isolate electrically by severing the connection on one outside rail from one piece of track to another. And along this side, this is going to be an open circuit, and then once you roll over or short these two pieces of track together, it's going to complete the circuit, and then whatever you have hooked up to the other end of that switch, in this case I have all this stuff, that will activate. So you can hook it up to track power, and that's just fine, but the main problem with that is we have variable voltage, at least I do with the Z controller, because as you can see, so I'll move it up here, you can see the illuminating light right there. As I crank it up, it gets brighter, but as I also move it down, it gets lower. And the problem is with these, we want to have them at a constant voltage. We don't want a variable voltage. Instead of having, lights get brighter, softer, and the flashing circuit also depends on voltage in too, so it can move faster than expected. So we want a constant voltage power source. So what I did is I took a separate transformer I have and hooked it up in phase with track power. And basically what that means is I tied the grounds from the track power and this together, but I created a separate power source to all the stuff I want activated through this outside rail. And then once, the beauty of this is, see how I have no track power right now, as you can see right now, but this transformer is completely on. This means that once this goes over the rails, if the track power is off, I still have the ability to turn these on, which is exactly what we want. So it's more realistic, and yeah, so let's demo that. So when we go over, you can see we've got the two flashers going, and then we also have the MP3 circuitry. And then once I roll it back off, it will return back to normal again. So this will go all the way from this track all the way down to where this electrical tape is here on that track. So the reason I like this method better is because the other method you have are these pressure switches. And basically what this does, you can hear the click when the circuit activates, when the switch closes. So the weight of the train, or the weight of the locomotive, whatever, will activate this. And the problem is, sometimes you can have maybe parts of train that are lighter, and you can release it faster than expected or not have it detected at all. Or sometimes it can be too heavy on another part of the track, and you get false detections. So that's not good enough for me. We can do better than that. So that's why I'm doing this outside rail activation. But yeah, so basically that's kind of the stuff I've been working on so far. Like I said, I want to make a series of these videos because I think it's cool to share my knowledge, but also maybe in the comments I could even learn from you guys about stuff you do, things like that. That engine, that O-scale engine, will be for sale as well. I'll post the listing in the description for anyone that's interested. But yeah, I would like to do a series of these videos. This is kind of just where I'm starting off. I'm doing this in my free time when I have spare time, so I don't want to make this feel like a job, and it's probably going to be piecewise. But for right now, I'd say we've got a pretty good start. But yeah, so that's my O-scale layout, part 1.